Welcome to Lawyer of the Week. Lawyer of the Week is creating a global community of lawyers, solicitors, and their support to inform and to encourage each other. My name is Pamela Deneuve, and I help focused and successful lawyers to move their practice to the next level and to achieve their peak performance. This week, we have a peak performer who's sharing their story. Please join us. We hope that you enjoy it.
Welcome to Lawyer of the Week. I'm so pleased today that we have a group of dedicated women lawyers from South Africa. I know we've never had a group before, but this is a very special group of women who are bright, who are very enthusiastic, and I'll tell you a little bit about why they're so enthusiastic and committed to their cause. The LSSA, the Law Society of South Africa, hosted a panel discussion on achievable objectives for gender transformation in the legal profession during its 2016 AGM. The panel consisted of experienced women lawyers who are all leaders in their field. On June 9, 2016, the LSSA council members met with a panel of women lawyers to further discuss the objectives above and decide on a way forward. The Women's Task Team was officially established in late 2016 with Ms. Mimi Memka as the chairperson of this group, Dr. Jean-Marie Retief as project leader, and the following key members: Nolitha Jali, Rashas Ketswa Malifo, Denise Lenier, and Kanye Sili Shana. So I just didn't say their names all correctly. So could you please introduce yourselves to our audience, starting with Jean-Marie?
Hi, my name is Jean-Marie. I coordinate for the team, and I'm the founder and director of Calibrix Innovative Legal Strategies.
Hi, my name is Mabayeng Denise Linyai. I am a member of the task team and also a counselor of the Law Society, and I'm also a director at the law firm called Mabayeng Linyai Attorneys.
Thank you.
Name is Nolukani. They call me Kani to shorten my long name. Tolitana. I am a practicing attorney with the Office of the State Attorney in the Northern Cape, and I'm a member of the team.
Thank you.
I am Nolitha Jali, a practicing attorney at Legal Aid South Africa, and I am a member of the Women's Task Team.
Wonderful.
Hi there, my name is Mimi Memka. I'm the chairperson of the Law Society of South Africa's Women's Task Team. I'm a practicing attorney. I run my own firm under the name M. Memka Attorneys.
Thank you.
I'm Reshokesu Malifo. I'm a member of the team, and I'm a director at Malifo Attorneys.
Wonderful. So we're so glad to have you all. And let me just continue to tell you a little bit more about the team. The team produced a working document which set out the objectives for 2017. Tasks were assigned to each member of the group, and progress on the objectives were communicated to the LSSA on a regular basis and discussed during the team's regular meetings. So they're from all over South Africa, so we're very pleased that they're here at one of their meetings, and so we were able to interview them as a group. So we're just going to ask the Lawyer of the Week questions, and the first question I'm going to ask to Mimi Memka, the chairperson: when and what made you decide to set up this women's task team?
Yes, as indicated, as you have already indicated in your introduction, there was a conversation in the AGM of the Law Society of South Africa in 2016. And part of that conversation was to discuss challenges that are faced by women in the legal profession. As a background, the legal profession in South Africa is very male dominated. Gender transformation is going at a snail's pace. And that's predominantly because the leadership in the profession in South Africa is male dominated. So as women, we felt that we have to take it upon ourselves to try and change the landscape. We have to deal with the transformation ourselves and not leave it to other people. So we came together, we formed this team to discuss the challenges that women lawyers in South Africa face, and to identify just a few objectives per annum that we want to focus on to move us towards the direction that we are taking, that is towards trying to make a legal profession that is gender transformed. In particular, taking into account that the legal profession in South Africa has just gone through a change, and there's a new Legal Practice Act that has come into effect. And the prescripts of that act, or the preamble, one of the things in that preamble of the act is to ensure that the legal profession must reflect the demographics of the country, both in terms of race and gender. So that is why we decided that we can't leave our fate as women lawyers in other people's hands. We have to take control, and we have to do whatever it is that we need to do within our power to ensure that there is gender transformation in the legal profession.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mimi. That really explains why your enthusiasm and commitment is important. So, Denise, can you describe for us the obstacles women need to overcome to practice law in South Africa?
Thank you, Pam, for that opportunity. The challenges that we as women have to face in the profession are vast. I'll just mention a few. Entry level, finishing our degrees, it's very difficult for female lawyers to enter the profession to get hours. So that's point number one. Point number two is that even if you are in the profession, there are perceptions that women attorneys are weak, are sensitive, so you don't get taken very seriously, especially when issues of promotion come, and also issues of remuneration, because the fact that sometimes you're out of practice because you have to go and tender to bring children. When promotion is being discussed, you're not taken very seriously because for part of your career, you'll be out of the office. The other challenge is that when very serious matters or cases are being handed out, you get looked over because people think that you only need to do soft type of duties in the office. You don't get given real serious cases where you have to go either to the Constitutional Court or in the High Court. They don't think that you are strong enough to handle those type of cases. The other thing is when it comes to getting somebody who will mentor you to become the kind of attorney that you need to be. The main opportunities, you always get left behind because they consider you to be able to do only the soft type of duties, taking notes at meetings, and those, you can't be the one leading the. We also have a serious problem with sexual harassment, in that most of our attorneys leave the profession because of this challenge of sexual harassment. It's not very easy to talk about it. It's all hush-hush, and people rather leave the profession than stay in it. Those are just some of the few, and there's a lot. We can talk the whole day about it, but I'll leave some of it to my other committee members to tell you about some of them. Thank you, Pam.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Denise. You know, as you're saying that, I know that a lot of some of those issues are rampant, really throughout the legal profession all over the world. But I do, just in what I've discovered in speaking with you and doing research about South Africa, that the two issues of the gender equity and all the things you spoke about, as well as racial equity, really make it doubly more difficult for women lawyers, especially of color and of not of color, but especially of color, to advance their career in the legal profession. Would you say that's correct, Denise?
That is correct. You know, black female attorneys, if I can put it on a scale, it is normally the white males, and then the black males, and then the white female attorneys, and then we as black female attorneys, we come right at the bottom.
Yes.
So we have to battle so many levels before you are taken very seriously. And the fact that you are an accomplished attorney becomes the last thing that people have to consider. For people to take you seriously, you have to perform 200%, 100%. But you must perform at 200% before you are taken very seriously. You have to break your back before people take you serious, which is very unfair because that is not what is expected of other people. Even when big organizations and even government give out briefs, we are the last people to be given briefs. Or if you are lucky enough to be given a brief, you must be supported by some male attorney from somewhere because nobody expects that you will be able to deliver a good product. It is very disheartening to many of us. That is why there are so few of us who are still left, because most of us leave because really it is not very, very encouraging.
Right. Yeah, so if someone's even given an opportunity, which is rare, then they are forced under the patriarchal eye of the senior lawyers or male lawyers. And so, yes, that doesn't give you much of a chance. So we'll go on to the next question. Rosho Ketswa, can you tell us what is your team mission?
Our mission basically is to see the transformation. Women get uplifted in all key areas. Women get transformed because there's lack of that across the board in our judiciary and in our legal representatives and in our corporates. So we would like to see that the women in this field get uplifted to the key positions that are necessary to make us progress in life and be able to, be one of the run-of-the-mill women who motivate others and see that things are happening, not only to be seen as women who, keep on, like Denise has said, being secretaries, even though you have achieved the same qualities and the same experience as your male counterparts. Now, if we see that, the women get recognized and given the opportunities that they deserve, and because we work even harder, we have challenges that we face, which are more than that men face in this world. And we do our best to, get right there with them and be recognized for those things that we do, then we believe that the mission might be accomplished. And even those that do suffer in the profession, as they come along, we pick them up and bring them up to par with where we are. Then we might feel that the mission has been, dealt with as we wish it to be.
Yes. When I read statistics, I don't know if these are still the same, Rochelle Ketswa, that there are more women attorney graduates in South Africa than men.
Yes, there are. The situation is still the same. The statistics show that women graduates are more than male counterparts. But then those that do get into the system and remain in the profession are much, much lesser than the graduates as they come out of universities. There are different levels that one has to go through as students. You have to become a candidate attorney and admitted as an attorney. But after you've been through all this, that's where you recognize that a lot less women have become attorneys, and even a lot remain in the profession because of all the difficulties and that women face in the profession.
Is it safe to say that there is a shortage of women lawyers, specifically women lawyers of color in South Africa?
Yes, it is safe to say so. It is safe to say so because those that went to varsity, as you know, the bottleneck becomes even more smaller for them to come out of that route and become, flourished female attorneys. The opportunities become lesser for women of color. As Denise has explained, that there are less women of color in the profession. There's more difficulties, which I think my colleagues will have to explain later on in some of the answers that we give.
Thank you. Well, my next question is for Jean-Marie Retief. You put a lot of emphasis on achievable objectives, but how does this make you different from other committees, teams championing gender advancement?
I think for us, when we started this team, is we said that we didn't want to be another committee that came together and discussed challenges and issues and then all went our separate ways. We wanted something practical to come out of it. So we wanted to be able to get together, identify these achievable objectives, and then towards the end of every year sit down and say, okay, what have we achieved, to what degree, and has it been successful or not? And I think all of our initiatives are run on that, with that objective in mind, is can we achieve this and how are we going to practically achieve it? And this is where the whole team actually plays a part, because team duties are handed to each member of the team, and we all work together to make it work. So it's not just another committee that just talks about challenges. We really do focus on trying to practically change things. Even though it may be at a slow pace, we still feel like we're making a significant contribution, hopefully.
Okay, so that's really important. I think because there is a lot of talk, as I said, I see it, all over the world, that there's a lot of talk about it, but for you to, I think the key word is you having achievable goals, that even though they may not be broad strokes, there's something that you can really accomplish. And it sounds like you have a support system with each other. You want to tell us a little bit about that, Jean-Marie? How you support each other?
I think we really just come together and do the best that we can, all as women in the profession. And I think one of the key things for me that actually stands out actually in the last week, considering things that have been going on in the legal profession, etc., is this atmosphere of inclusiveness that we have in the team. Mm-hmm. We really do support each other, and we support our goals and our objectives. And even though we serve on other committees and in other fields of the law, we still try to get together and put those objectives together to reach a common goal. But I would also like to hear the opinions of the rest of the team on this question, if that's okay.
Yes.
Yes, Pamela, it's Nolita.
Yes.
When we, like Jean-Marie said, when we started, we knew our schedules, we knew our other commitments, and we decided we want to do something and make a difference. And in order for us to achieve what we wanted to achieve, we said, let us do it one step at a time. Let us do one program, see it to fruition and then take on the next program. That was the whole idea.
That's
And
great.
as Nolita says, I think that's where we come with the word achievable, because we don't want to take on a lot of things which we cannot achieve. That's why we rather take on one thing and see the progression of that thing, and when it has come to fruition, we take on the next one.
Wonderful.
If I may have a word, yes. For example, just to make a point that we're not talking about pie in the sky, we have started a mentorship program where we're looking at mature female practitioners to mentor the younger practitioners that are coming into the legal profession in terms of content of the law, but also in terms of running your own practice, because most of us practitioners running our own firm, be it small or middle-sized. So we want to ensure that the younger generation of women coming into the legal profession have a support system, that they are not left by themselves and feel isolated as we did when we entered the profession. That when they come into a better environment as Black women lawyers than we did when we entered the profession. And also to give them access to the profession, access in terms of ensuring that they get articles of clerkship. Because in order for you to eventually become an attorney in South Africa, you have to do what other people call an apprenticeship. In the legal profession, we call it articles of clerkship. And it's very difficult for Black, young Black females who have graduated to get articles. So through SACITA, which is a services SITA that we have in South Africa, we have managed to get some young graduates into articles of clerkship so that they can do their apprenticeship for the 2 years. Then they will be able to write their board exams and qualify. So step by step, we see what is it that is causing bottlenecks in the system, and we address issues one at a time.
That's wonderful.
I think Kanye can make a contribution as well.
Yes, Pam. Most importantly, I think is to have something tangible that contributes to the development and upliftment of women in whatever way that we can. It's not about just us meeting and talking about issues of women. Let's identify the issue and let's see what can be done about it, and let's do something about it. If we need to involve other parties, let's involve, like in your case, like the kind of a relationship that we now have with you. I think it's one of those that we had thought that it would benefit us talking to you and hearing what other people are doing with and what they're doing, where they are doing it, and how we can do what we are trying to do in South Africa, and perhaps how you can assist us to do what we would like to do in the legal profession for women in South Africa. So it's more about doing something about it, more than talking about it. And coming, as you can see, the group is small, and I think that was intentional to keep it as small as possible so that you are able to have deliverables, and you are able to talk to a smaller group and have them drive certain programs. We don't necessarily do the programs ourselves, as I'm saying, but we identify what needs to be done and we see to it that it gets done. Thank you.
Okay, that's really great.
Just to add on what Kanye is saying, a practical example of what we have recently achieved. We've got what is called the Attorneys Development Fund here in South Africa, which is a fund that assists new law firms to set up their systems, and they've got all collaborations with lots of companies to assist up and coming young firms. But we, as the Women's Task Team, have taken it a step further. In South Africa, there is a course that one has to take called the Practical Management Training course. you cannot open your own law firm without this course, but it is pricey. And most of us, especially coming from disadvantaged backgrounds, we don't necessarily have the funds to go and register for this course. So through our chairperson and Jean Marie, we managed to have a memorandum of understanding with the Attorneys Development Fund to pay for these women. It's sort of a loan, an interest-free loan. They pay for you to go there, and as you are working, you pay them back over a period of a year. So it is not cumbersome on the new firm to pay back, but it is made possible so that most of us, especially the females, we can then go there, get this course, and then we're able to open our law firms. And then in that way, we can then absorb the young candidate attorneys and young female attorneys into our law firms, so that all the challenges that we spoke about, we can then try and what is the right word to use? To circumvent them and be practical about, instead of just talking, we are seen to be doing what we actually walk the talk, basically. Thank you.
That's really wonderful. That's really wonderful. And it's really nice to hear from so many of you, how you're able to achieve the goals and how you're able to be accountable and do small things. I like that, to help women start their firms. It's it's like the difference between whether they can practice law or not. So those are really, really great things to hear about. So given that, Nolita,
Yes.
am I saying Nolita?
Lolita.
Nolita, what advice do you have for anyone who is struggling or facing difficulties reaching their goals?
The advice I would give is the first step in anyone's life is to set goals for yourself. It is not an error to set goals, and it is not an error to set big goals for yourself. What one needs to do as you move on, as time goes, maybe after 6 months, after a year, you need to reevaluate and check whether you've achieved your goals, what were the obstacles that made you not to achieve your goals, and to reassess your position. Find ways of achieving your goals. So my thing is, once you've set your goals, don't give up. There will be obstacles on the way. You will have challenges, but reevaluate, reassess your situation, and move on.
Would you be willing to just share about some of the difficulties you had just in becoming a lawyer yourself? How you set a goal?
Finding an office to do articles was one of the first challenges that I had. I ended up going to assist at a nearby magistrate's office.
I see. Okay. So
I volunteering as a prosecutor, when in actual fact I wanted to be an attorney, but I volunteered because I wanted to keep in touch and not lose on law. And whilst I was assisting in the magistrate's court, someone whom I was at school with, saw me there, and he referred me to a law firm, and that's how I got to do my articles. So I didn't give up on what I wanted to do. Another advice I would give to a young person is to, once you want to move in, get yourself a mentor, someone who will take you along in your in achieving your goals.
Yes. Yes, we can't do it alone. We need support. And that's why it's so great that you all have set that achievable goal of a mentorship, because that is the foundation of helping others to achieve their goals. Kanye, as committed members of this team, what legacy would you like to leave?
Oh, there's a lot, Pamela. There's a lot. But I think above all, for me, it would be to see, I'll use the term loosely to say gender equity, gender equality. But basically, that would be a transformation of the thinking in the profession generally, a transformation in the thinking amongst females themselves, a transformation in the thinking amongst men in the profession. For me, that would be the greatest achievement that this committee and the greatest legacy that we would ever leave behind. A society of a profession that is able to think broadly, especially on the issue of gender equality.
Pamela, our respected chair has something to add, I think.
No, and I just wanted to add that as this committee, one of the other legacies, just like this many, one of the other legacies that we would like to have as this group is that we opened the way for the younger generation that comes after us, and that they don't find it, they find it easier to get access into the profession than we did, and they are encouraged to remain within the profession, because then the environment in which they would enter at that particular point would have changed, and they won't have to face the same challenges that we have had to face, that we are dealing with currently, that when they come in and face different challenges, and that the profession, the landscape of the legal profession in South Africa must change, and our children must find it a level playing field for everyone, irrespective of their gender, irrespective of their color, and that color shouldn't determine whether you succeed as a lawyer or not.
Wow, that's saying a lot, you know, and when you are looking towards the next generation, that's such a selfless and, you know, I hate to say loving, but it is. It's loving and caring for people that are coming behind you and trying to make the road easier for them in the legal profession. And if you don't do it, who's going to do it? You know, if you don't do it, no one's going to do it. So you're doing it, and you're doing it with achievable goals, and it's so admirable. I have so much respect for each of you. We have one question that we ask every lawyer of the week, because here in the United States, one of the big things is lawyer well-being. You know, lawyers, you work, and then you have, especially women, take care of your family, you take care of everybody but yourself. And so we want to know, name one thing you do to manage your stress. And so the whole team, if you can think of one thing that you do to help you to not, like just drop from exhaustion. What do you do?
Exercise.
I talk about the things that happen to me, and besides talking to my fellow lawyers, I also talk to my maker. I pray a lot, and taking time to relax. Drink a lot of chamomile tea.
That's great.
For me, I get involved in other activities that have nothing to do with law. You get involved in community activities, you get involved in other organizations that advance other people's, a friend of mine and myself have formed an NPO, an NPC non-profit organization called The Voice of the Needy. And what we do there is we give free legal advice on Saturdays to people, mostly foreign nationals who are in our country. And we give them free legal advice. we tell them where to go when they have certain needs or issues, if they want to apply for grants and all of that. So that to me is my way of distressing, when I help other people with the knowledge I have in the law, but not necessarily practicing law. That is what I do.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you.
Connie? Oh, no.
Nice one, Mimi. I'm gonna copy. I exercise, Pamela.
Uh-huh.
I pray. That's how I relieve my stress.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
There's a lot I do. I lounge in front of the TV. I park there for a whole weekend sometimes.
Uh-huh.
I exercise. I cook. I like cooking and baking and doing those things. I do that. Like Mimi, I'm involved in other things, church activities, community activities. I have Saula as part of my distressing. So when I want to get out of my work, I go into Saula and see what can be done there or what needs to be done there. So there's a lot I do. There's a lot I do. Unfortunately, I don't drink and I don't smoke. So I don't go that route, unfortunately. So maybe I should try those creative ways. I don't know if they will help. Maybe I should explore creativity.
Fair enough, Connie. Fair enough for what to explore.
When my kids were still around, it was another way of distressing, because they will take me to movies and they'll take me to all sorts of things that they were interested in. They'll take me to movies. They'll keep me busy with picking them up and dropping them off and doing this. And in Kimberley we have what we call the Charitzias, and it's like your, how do I call it? It's games put together. People come with stalls. There's food sold, and there's people that come and display the products that they sell and all of that. My kids loved to go there, so we would go there, and I'll be made to go on all the rides. Sometimes. So yeah. So there's a lot of ways that I use to try and distress.
Wonderful.
Yeah, well, for me, Pamela, it's exercising. I travel a lot. I watch movies a lot where I do not have to use my mind. I just watch. And also at church, I find that, giving free advice on several topics. The minister will say, this week let's talk about estates, next week let's talk about property or whatever. Just after church for 30 minutes, just that free workshop. Those are things that help to distress me, and what I like about that is that you're giving yourself without expecting any payment. I think it's the greatest reward. Yes.
Wonderful.
Okay,
the new baby. How do you do?
I'm the new baby, so
She promised to bring. Don't see the baby. She promised to bring her.
yeah, and I'm so sorry. I will bring her next time though. But so it's still new for me, so I think I'm still enjoying that part. But then also, my great love, which is my other babies, is they're my guitars. So I play guitar and anything I can with regards to music.
Oh, great. Are you still be able to do it with the baby now? Sometime?
Actually, more so, because she really likes it when I play and sing to her. So it actually works out quite well.
Nice. Who was it that was going to buy a bike, or who was going to ride a bike? Who was that? When we did the 6 weeks, someone was going to get a bike.
Me.
I got a bike. I got a bike.
You want to go to bike?
I got a bike now.
I'm going to get mine. I'm going.
So I've been riding my bike. I've been making myself ride my bike.
Next week I'll have my bike.
Okay, you were going to buy a bike a year ago, so you got to buy a bike now. Okay. Well, thank you, ladies, so much. I'm just so moved by your selflessness and your commitment and your achievement. You know, each one of you to just become a lawyer in South Africa, and in spite of the odds, and then you all have taken on leadership roles, and you contribute to others, and you're thinking about not about yourselves. Now I've made it as a lawyer. You're looking at how you can help those who are coming behind you, and you're taking your time to do this. And I'm just I think anyone who sees this Lawyer of the Week will know what outstanding individuals you are and what shining lights you are in South Africa. And I'm sure that, you know, your legacy will, you know, little by little, things will change. And I know that each of you is someone who doesn't give up. And you don't give up, and you just keep going forward, and you keep pulling together. So I'm just so glad that we had this time together, and I'm so glad that you're able to share your voice with the world outside of South Africa as well as in South Africa. So thank you so much for being our guests on Lawyer of the Week. Thank you for joining Lawyer of the Week. As always, I encourage and support each one of you to achieve your own peak performance, move your law practice to the next level, and create your own legacy. I'd love to read your comments about how you achieve peak performance in your law practice below.